A lot of times we are living with a dysregulated nervous system, and it is controlling our life without us even realizing it. And it's interwoven into our daily patterns, our daily behaviors, and our lifestyle. And we think that it's just our personality, it's just the way that we are. But in truth, it's dysregulation. And we think that we have the free will and it's us choosing, but it's actually our nervous system choosing for us. And until we can learn to regulate our nervous system, we'll never actually have any conscious control over our life or what we do or the direction that we take our life. So, if you want to begin to understand how your nervous system is dictating your life and how to regulate your nervous system so you can begin taking control, then this video is for you. So, a dysregulated nervous system shows up in a few different ways. I'm sure you've heard about it. The fight or flight response. So, there's three responses: fight, flight, or freeze. And a lot of times, our constant need to strive, to always be productive, to always be doing something, to always push harder and work harder, the inability to sit still. This is all coming from a fight response within our dysregulated nervous system. And the way that we try to soothe that dysregulation is through constantly doing something, needing to do something, needing to strive, needing to achieve some sort of success, needing to push harder and work harder. Because what happens is we're scared that if we don't, things aren't going to work out. It's a fear-based response. And the way to break this pattern, if you're tired, because eventually it's going to lead to burnout, mental or physical burnout. And if you want to break this pattern, the key is to actually just sit with yourself, to not try to soothe and regulate your nervous system by trying to give into it, by believing what it's telling you, to always be doing more. Now, obviously, if you have responsibilities, then that's something different. But a lot of times we create these things in our mind. Oh, if I don't do this, then something bad's going to happen, or I'm not worth it, or whatever. If you can get to the root of these beliefs and what your mind is telling you, you'd realize that they're just kind of these arbitrary goals and things that we strive for that don't really have any meaning. And I'm not telling you not to go after them, not to push yourself, but when you're living from a dysregulated nervous system, you're not within balance. You're not living a balanced life. It's very difficult. So that fight response tends to show up in constantly needing to do something. And there's a really good quote that I like. The quote is, "All of humanity's problems stem from our inability to sit quietly in a room alone." And I think this is speaking to the fact that the dysregulation within our nervous system, the constant stimulation of our mind, the fear of being alone, the fear of not constantly doing something is that dysregulation. And it prevents us from being able to just sit in a room alone. But the thing is that's exactly what we need to do to begin regulating. The obstacle is the way. The path forward to being more regulated within yourself is actually moving into the thing that you don't want to do in terms of in this case, the fight or flight response, the fight response of constantly needing to do something. Sit with yourself. Observe your emotions, observe your thoughts, the beliefs. They're just coming and going, and they're stemming from this limited perception of this fight response that is your dysregulated nervous system. So if you can begin to just sit with yourself and breathe, you begin to come out of that pattern that you've strengthened for so long. A lot of us live our entire lives this way because, these beliefs and this conditioning has been passed on to us from our parents or our caretakers or whoever, media, you name it. So if you can sit with yourself and breathe, you can begin to regulate yourself. Another way a dysregulated nervous system shows up in our lives and through our patterns and behaviors is through the flight response or freeze response, which tends to show up in avoidance of doing something. So this is the opposite of constantly needing to be doing something. It's actually the avoidance of taking responsibility for yourself or what needs to be done in your life because of the overwhelming feelings that come along with it. It stems from some sort of fear or doubt, and the way that we cope with this is by freezing. We don't do anything. We procrastinate. We sit and watch TV or scroll our phone or literally anything but the task that we feel we actually need to be doing that's causing our anxiety. And in avoiding that, we are running away from ourselves. We're trying to soothe that fear response. So instead of doing the task, you're going to avoid it. You're going to watch TV, you're going to scroll your phone, you're going to do anything but that task or that thing that you feel needs to be done deep down. And it's going to create more anxiety and more of this internal disturbance, this weight on your shoulders, this overwhelming feeling. And again, the way to regulate yourself is by sitting with the thoughts, the fears, the doubts, whatever emotions are coming up for you that are creating that fleeing or freeze response, to just sit with them, observe them, not distract yourself from them, breathe through it, and then go and take the action step after you have regulated yourself, not through trying to soothe yourself with something outside of you. A lot of times we have our go-to ways to regulate ourselves. It could be mental stimulation through scrolling your phone, video games, TV, pornography. It could be substances. It could be alcohol, drugs, even food. There's so many different ways that we can soothe ourselves or try to soothe ourselves by not actually facing ourselves. And the only lasting way to break the pattern, break the cycle within yourself is to move into that by breathing, by being present, by observing yourself and allowing it to be there. It's very uncomfortable at first, but it's a muscle that you strengthen within yourself. And the more you can do this, the more that you are the regulator of yourself. You don't need something else outside of you to regulate your nervous system. And in coming back to regulating yourself, things start to change in your life. You become more balanced within yourself. Your perception changes. Your thinking changes. You're able to change your thoughts a little bit better. You're able to examine your internal state, the narratives that have ran your life, and not live from them anymore, because you're now breaking the patterns of being yourself, as Joe Dispenza would put it. So it all starts with just sitting with yourself, breathing. Meditation is one of my favorite ways of doing this. Sitting with yourself and breathing with it is kind of the foundation of regulating. That's what I found in my own life. There's some other things that I've found. Going for walks in nature, journaling has helped, but a lot of it comes back to awareness, mindfulness, and being in the presence of my own being and living from that place, whatever I'm experiencing internally or externally, and breathing with it. It's very simple, but it's not always easy. So if you feel like some of these patterns or behaviors are running your life, know that they don't have to anymore. The first step is being aware of it, and the second step is making a different choice by not living from these patterns, by doing something different, by sitting with yourself and being the conscious adult within your own body. So I hope this video helps you take control back, take your power back over your life. There's a really good quote by Carl Jung, and he said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, call it fate." And I'd like to add to that and say, until you make the dysregulated regulated, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So it's both a mental thing and it's a nervous system thing. The two are intertwined, and it all starts with just being with yourself. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.